Good morning, children. Today we are on to the second video of biomolecules, and in today's session we will be talking about monosaccharides, and particularly we'll be talking about the structure of glucose. Okay, so what monosaccharides are, we have discussed in the previous video. Monosaccharides are those carbohydrates which do not hydrolyze to the simpler one because they are already simple, right? So they are those which cannot be hydrolyzed further into simpler units. Now monosaccharides, on the basis of the number of carbon atoms and the functional group, they can be further classified, okay, based on the number of the carbon atoms they have and the functional group. If they have aldehyde functional group, they are called as aldose. And if the monosaccharides have ketone functional group, they are called as ketose. Based on which functional group they have. And further, on the basis of the number of the carbon atoms they have. That means if they have, say, 3 carbon atom, 4 carbon atom, 5 carbon atom, 6 carbon atom, 7, and so on, they will be named as, if it is aldehyde with 3 carbon atom, it is called as aldotriose, 3 carbon atoms. If it is 4 carbon atom, it will be named as aldotetrose. Likewise, aldopentose. This is named as aldohexose. Same way, if it is ketone functional group with 3 carbon atom ketone functional group, it is named as ketotriose. Same way, ketotetrose, ketopentose. If it is 5 carbon atom with ketone functional group, 6 carbon atom with ketone is ketohexose. Likewise, it will be aldoheptose, ketoheptose, but we have mainly till 6 carbon atoms, so we are considering till here. Now, what are the examples of the monosaccharides which we are going to talk about? We will be talking about 2 examples mainly. One, glucose, and the second one which we'll be talking about is fructose. Right? So first we will be starting with glucose. But if we see the molecular formula, glucose and fructose both have the molecular formula C6H12O6. Then how are they different? They are different in the functional group which is present in them. Because that glucose has aldehyde functional group and fructose has ketone functional group. So we can say glucose and fructose are functional isomers. We can call them as functional isomers. Okay, because the functional group is different in them. The molecular formula is same, but the functional group is different in them, right? So first we are talking about the structure of glucose. The glucose structure was, explained on the basis of the number of the experiments. There are certain evidences on which basis we can say, yes, this is the structure of glucose. So we'll discuss them one by one. Now, first thing is the molecular formula. As we have discussed, its molecular formula is C6H12O6. Now, if we want to explain the structure, before the structure, first, we should draw exactly the structure, and then one by one we are going to discuss, the properties of it. Let me draw the structure. So first what we will do is, we will be drawing the open chain structure of glucose. We'll be drawing open chain structure. Now, what is it, open chain structure? Open chain structure means all 6 carbon atoms we are going to show in a straight manner. This type of representation is called as the Fischer projection formula. Fischer projection formula. Now, what is Fischer projection formula? Fisher projection formula is that in which the carbon atoms are represented in a straight manner like this, and the center carbon atoms are not represented, they're just shown with the cross, and every cross means there is a carbon atom present there. We will represent them lengthwise. So first what we do is we will put CHO there on the top carbon atom, on the top, that is on the first, this there is CHO. At the bottom you mark CH2OH, right? And then you make 4 more lines in it, because 4 crosses will be there, and all 4 crosses means 4, these crosses I'm talking about. This will be numbering if we do first carbon atom, second carbon atom, third carbon atom, fourth carbon atom, fifth carbon atom, and sixth carbon atom. Right? So we draw 6 carbon atoms. Right? Now these OH, all of them are on the right hand side, but for third carbon atom. Third will be like this. Don't make a mistake of writing like this OH, H this side, because O is linked to this carbon atom. So it will be H outside. Okay, and H will be here, this will be H, means every carbon atom here is having H and OH. This will be on the right hand side, this will be on the right hand side. All OHs are on the right hand side but for the third carbon atom. This we have to learn the structure as such. Okay, now what is this structure? It is called as D, capital D we write, plus glucose. Now what is the significance of D plus, all that we will be discussing just now. Now that D, capital D, this capital D is not dextro-levo. This capital D means on this carbon atom, second last carbon atom, means CH2OH, and just next to that carbon atom is having OH on the right hand side. It is said to be D form. It is said to be D form. This positive means dextro. This means dextrorotatory. Dextrorotatory, as in optical isomerism we discussed, dextrorotatory is that substance through which if we pass the plane polarized light, it will rotate towards right hand side. Plane polarized light is unidirectional. It is unidirectional. Normal light is, having rotation, rotations in all directions like this. This is normal, ordinary light. But if it is, moving only in one direction, that is plane polarized light. So if plane polarized light is passed through this glucose, it will either rotate to left or to right. But if it is rotating towards right hand side, this is D plus glucose. So glucose is dextrorotatory, not levorotatory. Till here this open chain is clear. Now this structure was explained. There are certain evidences that this is the structure for glucose. What are the evidences? We will be discussing just now. The structure drawing is clear, children. CHO on the top, bottom CH2OH. You will make 4 lines in the center. All OHs on the right hand side but for third carbon atom. If we draw the mirror image of it, that will be L, capital L, not levo again. That will be L-glucose. Okay, but we normally draw D-glucose. I have drawn that one. Now, we have drawn 6 carbon atoms in a straight chain, in a straight manner. To prove that there are 6 carbon atoms in a straight line, they are all present in a straight chain. What was done? This glucose, when it is heated in the presence of HI, it results in the formation of normal hexane. Normal hexane. What is normal hexane? CH3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6 carbon atoms. So terminals one will have CH3 and the center ones will have H2. Yes, this is normal hexane. So when this glucose is heated in the presence of HI, it gives 6 carbon atoms which are linked in a straight chain. That is normal hexane it gives. So this particular experiment proves that 6 carbon atoms in glucose are not in a cyclic manner. They are present in a straight chain. Right? So either this way glucose, or sometimes you will also find given like this. CHO, CHOH taken 4 times and CH2OH. It is the same thing. CHOH taken 4 times. So 4 times and this. So I'll be not writing this part again. This is glucose, and each evidence I'll be explaining on the right hand side. Clear? First one. Next one. If this glucose is made to react with hydroxylamine. What is hydroxylamine? NH2OH. If it is treated with hydroxylamine, what does it form? It forms, oxim. It results in the formation of oxim. Now, what is that oxim? I'll explain it. I think I will write it and explain only. So this I will expand it like this. Instead of writing this hydroxylamine like this, I will write H to this side and then NOH plus glucose. Glucose means I am writing here CHO part here. CHOH taken 4 times and CH2OH. So I'm writing it again only because it will not be easy for you to understand. So this part comes out as water. When this part comes out as water, children, what is left over? You can just combine this. It is CH. Now 2 are removed, means there will be a double bond now. NOH, single bond. CHOH taken 4 times and CH2OH. This is nothing but oxim. What is it? It is oxim. This we will study in aldehydes and ketone. In aldehyde ketone we have done this, right? Now this results in the formation of oxim. One more reaction I'll be writing. If this glucose is treated with HCN, CHO plus HCN we are writing with. If we are adding HCN on it, then what will happen? Now what is glucose? CHOH taken 4 times and CH2OH, right? So in this CHO, there is a double bond with oxygen and hydrogen separately. If we want, we may write this H separately and make this a double bond. Let me write this way, CHO. So what is happening? In this HCN, what is added here, children? HCN. So in this HCN, there is H plus and CN minus. So this CN minus will attack carbon atom which is positive. Why this is positive? There is sigma and pi bond. The pi bond will be more towards O. So this O will get a negative charge and carbon will get a positive charge. So as a result, H will attack this O and CN will attack this H. So what we will get here, I am writing here CH. Here you will get CN. Here you will get O along with H. Remaining things as such, CHOH taken 4 times and CH2OH. So what is this done? What is happening to this HCN? It is adding on to that CHO. It is adding on to that basically CO. In this also that CO part was adding. Was participating. Even this also the CO part is adding. So what is happening in this? You are getting this particular product which is called as cyanohydrin. What is this called? This is called as cyanohydrin. Right? So this reaction as well as this reaction, these two reactions confirm the presence of carbonyl group. What do they confirm, children? It confirms the presence of CO group. That means this will be given by both, aldehyde as well as ketone. So this is indicating the presence of carbonyl group. So far what we have discussed two properties, two evidences for the structure. Number one, there are 6 carbon atoms present in a straight chain. How this is concluded? This is concluded that when we eat this glucose with HI, it will form normal hexane. Right? So we can draw a line here so that you are not getting confused. This is one. Right? The next one is when glucose is, this is second evidence. To prove the presence of what? The carbonyl group. There are 2 evidences to prove the presence of the carbonyl group. Number one, when you treat with hydroxylamine. What is this NH2OH? It is hydroxylamine. When you treat this with hydroxylamine, it results in the formation of oxim. So you can draw a line here. This is forming oxime, right? The next one is when you treat this with HCN, it results in the formation of cyanohydrin. These two experiments prove that there is carbonyl group present in it. Right? So we'll be doing some more experiments, some more evidences. Now, since in the structure I told you glucose is having aldehyde, that's CHO group. So third evidence we will be studying when this glucose, CHO, you just learn like that, CHO, CHOH taken 4 times, CH2OH. When this is treated with bromine water, it's a good oxidizing agent, bromine water. When this is treated with bromine water, right? So though it's not very strong oxidizing agent because we're starting with aldehyde only, it's a mild oxidizing agent. So mild oxidizing agent means it will not touch aldehyde. This will only oxidize this aldehyde, this will not touch alcohol. This is a mild oxidizing agent, will not disturb alcohol. So only this terminal aldehyde, CHO, this will be oxidized to acid. So what will be the product, children? COOH. Instead of CHO, there will be COOH. Bottom everything is same. CHOH taken 4 times, CH2OH. This part is the same. That means because it is a mild oxidizing agent, it did not do anything to alcohol. It only oxidized aldehyde to acid. So this particular reaction, it's an evidence to show that there is aldehyde functional group present in glucose. You may be asked, questions like that. With what experiment can you prove that it is having aldehyde? With what experiment you can prove it is having carbonyl group? There are 6 carbon atoms in a straight chain. What evidence can you give? So 3 experiments we have discussed so far. Now we'll discuss the presence of 5 OH groups. 5 OH groups are there in it. When this glucose, CHO, CHOH taken 4 times, when this CH2OH, when this is treated with any acetylating agent, say we are treating this with acetic anhydride. So when we treat this with acetic anhydride, these alcohols get acylated. So it will result in the formation of aldehyde will remain as such, CHO. Instead of this H, there will be acyl group, CH3CO group. There are 4, so we will put this, all 4 will be, getting acylated. Same way here, CH2O, CO, CH3. Right? So it is forming 4 here acyl groups, 1 here means what you are getting? You are getting glucose pentacetate. You're getting glucose pentacetate. So which indicates the presence of 5 OH groups in the glucose. This indicates the presence of 5, OH group, 5 alcoholic groups in the glucose structure. Clear? Now the 5th evidence, when this glucose, CHO, CHOH taken 4 times, CH2OH, when glucose is treated with, a strong oxidizing agent, say nitric acid. If it is treated with nitric acid. So strong oxidizing agent means even the terminal alcohol group will be oxidized to acid. That means it will result in the formation of this acid, means aldehyde will be getting oxidized to acid. CHOH remains the same. This is not getting affected. Why it's not getting affected? Because it has to even break CC bonds, which is not easy to break. So only the terminal one, means what you are getting here, you are getting COH for aldehyde, for alcohol also. So what is the product here? The product here is called as saccharic acid. It is called as saccharic acid. Right. Now, this particular reaction indicates the presence of primary alcoholic group. There is CHOH, CH2OH. That means a primary alcoholic group. 1 degree alcohol is present. So that indicates the presence of 1 degree alcoholic group also. Clear? You might be wondering what is the difference between this reaction and the one which we studied with bromine water. With bromine water, when you studied, only the aldehyde group got oxidized to acid. If you remember what structure we have done, we have done this structure, children, here. With bromine water, only this aldehyde group got oxidized to acid. What was the name of this? This was gluconic acid. This was gluconic acid. If both are getting oxidized, then it is called as saccharic acid. So if this gluconic acid is also treated with nitric acid, suppose this is treated with nitric acid, then you will have even this CH2OH group getting oxidized to acid. Means even gluconic acid in the presence of the nitric acid will be, forming saccharic acid. Clear? So what structure, children, we have studied till now is this structure, the open chain structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon atoms. On the third carbon atom, OH on the left, rest all OH on the right, CHO on the first carbon atom, primary alcohol group on the sixth carbon atom. This is open chain. But this type of structure, what we called as Fischer projection formula, right? This we have studied earlier also. But this formula could not explain certain facts. What it could not explain, that we will discuss. So there was another structure which was proposed, that is the cyclic structure of glucose. So cyclic structure of glucose was proposed. That is actually the structure which we also will consider while explaining the disaccharide, polysaccharide. So in the later half of the chapter, we will be only talking about the cyclic structure. So first let us see which all properties or which all facts were there which the open chain could not explain. Number 1, despite of having that CHO group, there is CHO group in this first carbon atom. CHO group is there. It should be giving 2,4-DNP test. It should be giving Schiff's test and sodium bisulfite ke saath it should give addition product. But glucose is not giving, does not give 2,4-DNP test, Schiff's test, and does not give addition product with this sodium bisulfite. Why? Because there must be some other structure. So because of this only there was another structure, this cyclic structure which was proposed. Second point is the pentaacetate of glucose does not react with hydroxylamine, which indicates that the CHO group is not there. Just now we have studied with hydroxylamine it should form oxen, but it is not forming, means this CHO group is not free. Then what is the structure? So we are going to study now. The third point is that glucose exists in two crystalline forms. Which two crystalline forms? It exists in alpha form and beta form. Actually, there are two forms of glucose which differ in their forms of the crystals. Their melting points are also different. The alpha form has 419 Kelvin as the melting point and the beta form has 423 Kelvin. Right, the melting points are different. And actually in the structures also the alpha and beta glucose are different. Now what is different in them? We are going to discuss. So suppose you are asked what led to the cyclic structure or the open chain structure could not explain which property. So we are going to write down these 3 points. Right, you have to remember these 3 points. That these were not explained by the open chain structure, therefore the cyclic structure of the glucose was proposed. Now if you know the open chain structure properly, you know all the other structures. You know the cyclic structure, you know the structure of the disaccharide, polysaccharides also. Now how do you convert this open chain structure into the other form? That we are going to discuss just now. This is open chain structure, right? Now I'm just drawing it here besides it only so that you can understand. There is a ring between 1 and 5 carbon atom. How do you convert this into the ring? Just see. On the 5th carbon atom, there is H. Take this H from here to the first carbon atom. From this H, you take this, from the 5th carbon atom, you take this H to the first carbon atom. If you take it here, what will be there on the first carbon atom? CHOH. And there will be CHOH. And now there will be this O. This O, you attach attached to the first carbon atom from the top. Just see now what I am doing, right? Let me draw the structure properly. Just see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. As such, I will mark CH2OH, nothing has happened. This is actually the first carbon atom, right? This is the first carbon atom, CHO. Now I have taken this H over there. Now on the first carbon atom, what do you have? CHOH. So I am writing in one structure OH on the right hand side and H on the left hand side, and there was OH. Now that OH is merged. This O I am writing here as a ring. Did you follow how I converted this here? This H I have taken there. So on the first carbon atom there is CHOH. CHOH. This is the first carbon atom, right? And on this fifth carbon there was O, that I have shown separately, and this O I have bonded to the top from on the top carbon atom from here. So this is the structure, cyclic structure. Rest everything is same. You just copy down, right? Now you go from here. This is sixth, this is fifth, fourth, third, 2. On the second carbon, what was on the right? You draw it. Everything is same. Only the third carbon atom OH was on the left hand side. Rest everything is same, like the open chain structure. You can see it is exactly like this, but only thing is there is a ring. There is a ring between 1 and 5 carbon atom. Between the first carbon atom and the fifth carbon atom, there is a ring. Okay. So this type of structure where the OH on the first carbon atom is on the right hand side is called as alpha form. This is alpha D plus glucose. The name is this. Alpha means on the first carbon atom OH on the right. If on the first carbon atom OH is on the right, it is called as alpha. D means on the fifth carbon atom OH was on the right. It was on the right only, which I have taken there on the top. Plus means dextrorotatory. Glucose. We are drawing the structure for glucose. If we are asked to draw beta structure, what is the beta structure? Just on the first carbon atom, you will draw OH on the left hand side. Rest everything is same. I will draw it here and explain. I'll draw it here. This is CH2OH, sixth carbon atom. I will draw now 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth one now also I am showing like this, right? So this is linked to the fifth carbon atom with the ring, right? And then rest everything you copy as such. There is no change as you have drawn here. Number them, that becomes easy for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon atom, right? On the first carbon atom, if I write OH on the left and H on the right, then this is called as beta. This is called as beta. This is what? What is the name of the second structure? Beta D plus glucose. This is beta D plus glucose. Did you follow? Please note down the structures. This ring so formed is, this is a 6-membered ring. This is a 6-membered ring. This is called as the cyclic hemiacetal structure. Hemiacetal structure. Hemiacetal ring it is, right? This is cyclic hemiacetal ring. I hope that is clear. You see, this was our open chain structure. From the fifth carbon atom, take H there, it becomes CHOH. And now on the first carbon atom, if I write OH on the right, H on the left, it is alpha. If I write OH on the left hand side, H on the right hand side, that is beta. Yeah, so you have this as the open chain structure. I'll just put it down. This is the open chain. This one is alpha. You can pause it and draw. And right hand side you have, this as the beta glucose structure. Clear? These two structures, alpha and beta glucose, are also called as anomers. These are also called as anomers. Anomers differ on the position of OH. They just differ in the position of OH. On the first carbon atom, if OH on the right, it is alpha. If it is on the left, it is beta. So these are anomeric structures of glucose. These structures which I have told you are also Fischer projection, way of representing the cyclic structure of glucose. But this structure also can be further explained in the ring form only, but Hevort's structure. So I will teach now Hevort's structure. So let us talk about Hevort's structures now. First you will draw this. This is the skeleton which I have drawn. You will draw 6-membered ring with one heteroatom oxygen. You will draw right hand side corner oxygen. I have drawn two structures because I want to explain alpha and beta both. And on each, these are carbon atom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and one carbon atom will be here, the 6th carbon atom. 6th carbon atom we know is CH2OH. Okay. So, you number these carbon atom first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the lower side you must have seen I have little darkened, The darkened part means it is facing the viewer. It's facing us. This part is away from us. This is away from us. Now, how do you convert the cyclic Fischer projection into Hevort? So, I am just showing you this side, cyclic Fischer projection, and how are you converting it? This was 6th carbon atom which I have shown here. On the 6th carbon atom, now here I have shown 5th also. This is 5th. On 5th, one more thing was attached, that is hydrogen. I will show here. And in this Fischer projection, whatever things are coming on the left hand side are above. Above means in this Hevort structure, you are going to show above on the top, this side above, whatever things are appearing on the left hand side. You can remember Los Angeles, LA, left hand side above. Now how? Let us start from 6th. 5th is done. 4th. 4th, what is above? H. So I will show H here, OH down. Whatever things are coming on the left hand side are above. On the 3rd carbon atom, what is above? OH, OH, H. On the 2nd carbon atom, what is above? H. So H, OH. On the 1st carbon atom, what is above? H. So I will show H and OH down. This is Hevort structure. Very simple. First, this O I have shown here. Including this O, there was 6-membered, here also 6-membered. This particular structure is resembling pyran. What is pyran? It's a heterocyclic ring. This is pyran. Pyran, pyran. So this is resembling, the structure of glucose is resembling pyran. Therefore, this is also called as pyranose. So what is the complete name of glucose now? Alpha. Why? Because alpha ka Fischer projection only I am showing here. So what is the name now? Alpha D plus glucopyranose. Glucopyranose. This is the complete name of glucose. Alpha means on the 1st carbon atom, OH on the right. If it is Hevort, OH at the bottom. D means on the 5th carbon atom, OH on the right. Plus means dextrorotatory, glucopyranose. It is resembling pyran. Now quickly I will tell you how to draw beta structure. Here you can see on the right hand side, this is beta D plus glucopyranose. What is the difference between alpha and beta? On the first position, first carbon atom position of H and OH. If H in Hevort is at the bottom, it is alpha. If OH is at the bottom, it is alpha. If OH is on the top, it is beta. Right? Like we have drawn here. This was Fischer projection. In Fischer projection, OH on the right is alpha, OH on the left is beta. So I said LA, left above, left side there was H, that was above, it is alpha. And if it is beta, LA, OH is above, so OH is above, I have drawn. Clear? So I have discussed in today's video all about glucose, open chain structure, cyclic, Fischer projection formula, and Haworth structure. So these are also the cyclic structures, but it was represented by Haworth. So these are called as Haworth structure of glucose. These are also anomers because they are alpha and beta forms. We have discussed if the position of the OH on the first carbon atom is different, they are called as anomers, alpha and beta forms. Clear? So if you have followed glucose structure properly, you will be able to follow fructose and the remaining polysaccharides and disaccharides very nicely. So please practice for today. Practice whatever we have discussed in this, rewrite it, draw in your own copy, and practice well. Thanks for watching.